So I've been asked to make a tutorial on how you would make a stand like the one that you see here in this picture. Um, so let's have a look. So let's see how to do it. So I've made a start in SketchUp and I've just basically made a rectangle. And I'm assuming that you know how to use the rectangle tool. This rectangle is 500 millimeters wide by 300 tall, and the principle of what I'm going to show you here is the same for any dimension you want, so you can just apply this to your idea. So what I'm going to do first is I need to find the center point of this, and I need to sort of put a few guidelines on to sort of guide me in making the sort of basic shape out of this. So let me grab the tape measure tool. What I'm going to do is go to this line here, click and drag, and that means that I'm dragging a guideline, move to the top there, and if I hit the middle, you can see it's 250 and it's a 500 wide. That is now the exact center of my rectangle. What I'm going to do then, if we just flick quickly back to that picture, you can see there's a slight width at the top there. So I'm just going to make, let's say, 5 centimeters, 50 millimeters. Let's try 50 millimeters without the mm. You don't actually have to put the unit in because I've already set the unit to be millimeters. If you wanted another unit, you could actually type in the unit and still get that. But so there's my top part, okay, and I'm going to have some feet down here, the width of the feet down here at the bottom. You can see that down here there's some little feet and they have a certain width, so I'm just going to make mine 20 wide. So 20, dragging my guideline from this side as well to 20. And what you also have is a certain height from the top to where those legs begin. So what I'm going to do there is just make a decision. That looks to me like around about the halfway point. So I'm going to drag a guideline from this time from the horizontal line of my rectangle, and I'm going to drag it, go to the edge here, and that'll tell me that I'm at the midpoint. So now I've set up kind of a set of lines here, and it looks like it doesn't really do anything except for the fact that I now have the basis of my shape. So take the pencil tool now, I'm going to go to this corner and I'm going to drag a line from there to there. I'm going to click over here, do the same thing there, and then from this intersection right here, I'm going to go up to there, across here, down to there. Now what that's done, and you can see that these lines are kind of thin compared to the outside lines. That means that they've actually successfully split this rectangle into different shapes. So now I have that shape, that shape, that shape, and that shape. And you may remember from SketchUp classes in previous years that by dragging from left to right, you drag everything that's completely within your rectangle. In this case, nothing, so it won't select anything. By dragging from right to left, you select anything that the rectangle touches. So I can easily now select that area just by touching the corner of it, and everything is selected. The surface and the two lines, hit the delete key and it's gone. Same thing here, and same thing here. That's one of the real benefits of that function of SketchUp, where you can just drag from right to left and anything touches gets selected. Anyway, let's move on. So what we need to do now, we have the shape we want. What I need to do now is give it a thickness. So I take the push-pull tool, and just for the sake of argument, I'm going to make it 15 millimeters thick. And that's actually nearly complete. However, what I need still to do is, of course, make 2 of them and then make them fit together. So first of all, I need to now work out the distance between this line right here and this line right here, because the slots where we fit them together, each of those slots needs to be down to the halfway point between this point and this point here. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to draw a line from there to there. That's just to help me find the middle point. And I'm going to take a guideline, and I'm going to go and touch this line, and that gives me the middle. Now I've found the middle, I can pretty much, actually no, I'm going to not delete it yet. I will delete it eventually, but I need it for one more thing. Now, because this is going to fit together with another piece, identical in most ways, that's 15 thick, I need to make a slot that's 15 thick to accommodate it. So, here we go. From there, since I want the slot to be 15 thick, I'm going to make that 7.5, because that line is at the midpoint. Make it 7.5 that side. Now I can delete my line, and what I should have is, and I can just check it, two guidelines here that are 15 millimeters apart, and you can see that's accurately done. So now what I can do, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a copy of that. I'm going to select the whole thing by clicking 3 times, and I'm going to copy these guidelines because I need 2 of them, remember, and there are some slight differences between the 2. So to make a copy, what I'm going to do is take the move tool, and then let me just reselect that stuff. I'm going to take the move tool, having selected these things, the move tool, and what I can do now is just move that. So if I hit the Option key, what it does is it makes a copy as it moves and leaves the original behind. Now the reason why I need that is because we need 2 slots, one at the top, one at the bottom, so that they fit together. And it's really important when you're making a design like this, that when you're making these slots, that each slot takes up half of the height. Now, what does that mean? Well, I'm going to show you now. So, on my first copy, what I can do is I can draw from there to there to there, and then use my push-pull tool, that's this one, and push through to the other side. And when you see this kind of look on, let me just move that slightly. When you see this look here where the 2 surfaces seem to be kind of fighting with each other, that means that they're occupying the same space, and that when you click, they'll disappear. Let me show you that on the other one. This time, I'm going to make my slot at the bottom, and I'm going to push-pull through. And when I'm push-pulling, I can click on pretty much any point to tell SketchUp where I want it to stop. So I can go up here and onto this intersection here, and that tells SketchUp that it wants to go exactly the thickness of the material. So now, as you can see, I have 2 pieces which are identical, except one has this slot at the top, one has this slot at the bottom. So what we need to do now, first of all, is I'm going to triple click that, and I'm going to make it into a component. So that's component 1, I can just click create, and that's component 2. So now I have 2 pieces which won't stick together when I assemble them. Alright, so let's get to the assembly of the structure. I've selected it, and now I need my rotate tool. And with the rotate tool, you've got to first select the axis in which you want to rotate your piece. So you can select that, you can lock it into place by using the arrow keys on your keyboard. So if you hit the left arrow, it'll be in the green axis. Blue arrow, the up arrow will give you the blue axis. The right arrow will give you the red axis. You don't really need to remember that, it's good. You can just play around with them until you find the right one. So the up axis is what I need, or the blue axis should I say. So I hit the up arrow, click there, move out a little bit, and then turn, and I'm going to type, so I'm working accurately. I'm going to type 90, so I know that I've turned exactly 90 degrees. And now, all I need to do is assemble them. So I've got to think now, which of these corners here has to fit together exactly with another corner for these two pieces to match and fit together perfectly. So that corner there, for this to work, is going to have to lock onto that corner there. Okay, so let's do that. Here's the move tool. Grab it by that corner and zoom in, snap onto that corner, and now you have your structure assembled. And that, I think, would make a very nice stand for something like a light or a table or something else. Okay, that's how to do it. Hope it was useful.